Welcome back, everybody. It's Ask the Expert. Scott Watson's here from Watson's Pharmacy. If you'd like to ask a question today, anything pharmacy related, feel free, but we are concentrating on helping you get a better sleep, helping with your stress, helping with your energy levels through supplements and so on today. So any of those topics, whatever, give us a call, 613-789-6559, extension 2803. Ottawa.morning@ctv.ca is our email address, or you can Facebook us a question. So we covered the sleep problem, insomnia they call it, of which luckily I do not suffer from. We've covered stress levels, and there are all kinds of different stresses, right?
Oh yeah.
So
life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Everyday life can be stressful for a lot of people. Let's, before we take any questions, let's talk about energy boosters and that sort of thing. Because like I said, everybody, no matter what time of day they start work or what time of the day they get going, usually there's a little dip in energy. For a 9 to 5er, it's probably between 2 and 3, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, and it's highly dependent on the foods we eat, on the coffee we consume.
Yeah. Speaking of which, let me ask you this, and we just had this question from one of our guys. I mean, there's various products out there right now that are designed to boost your energy.
Yes.
5-hour energy comes to mind. There's a bunch of products related to that. There's Red Bull, for example, and things like that. What do you make of all those things?
Well, Kurt, this here is our mitochondria. So in every cell in our body, we have all these organelles, and this is one of them. It's called the mitochondria. It's the energy. That's the little organelle that produces energy in every cell in our body. Okay. And so I think over the next coming years, with the anti-aging research and people are trying to get people to feel energetic and lively throughout their entire life, we're going to see a lot of people focusing in on this little fella, the mitochondria. So taurine, which is Red Bull I've heard about, taurine is the active ingredient, and it's an amino acid.
Taurine is?
That's right. Yep. So that's an amino acid that's important in the functioning of the mitochondria. So it's kind of thought that maybe that might help produce energy. I'm sure the sugar in these drinks are helping produce that initial surge of energy as well. But it's quite controversial at this time. So I mean, I don't recommend any drinks with Red Bull and those kind of things. Some people do find that, and I mean, just as long as we're not hurting ourselves. So I think that's what we try to do, is prevent harm. Right. But this is interesting, and this, again, a little more research has gone into these kind of products, which have just recently come on the market, and they're carnitine. And again, they're not fully, the whole mechanism of action isn't fully elucidated, but it's thought to actually get into the mitochondria and help that mitochondria produce energy. Right. So these kind of things that might be of assistance to people who are just at an age where they're like, gosh, I feel tired all the time, I don't know what it is. Yeah. Of course, I do think you need a full workup, because there can be so many things. There's blood disorders, there's all kinds of stuff going on. Yeah. It's not just this. So I mean, there's always a big story that has to be assessed. Yeah. So, but these might play a role.
There's mono that could be causing that problem.
That's right.
It's funny you should mention that, because when I was younger, I was around 30 years of age, and I had that issue. Oh, yeah. I was working a morning show, and you know, that shift can result in certainly your energy levels being low later in the day, but it was constant, and they thought at first it was mono, but I went for a workup at the doctor. It turned out to be my gallbladder. I had gallstones. Yeah, I know. So it's best, you know, before you start really going too deep with other stuff, go to your doctor, get checked out.
It really is, and like I was saying in that insomnia, I mean, there's so many problems that can be, it's just, you think it's just, I can't get a good night's sleep, that's the only thing that I address, but if we can look underneath, there's might be a problem that can be addressed that will solve these problems. So you
brought along, and you know, I mentioned to you I'd like to get a little boost here and there in the afternoon. Right. B12 is one of those things that can help.
B12, I've seen this over and over and over. People come in and they're like, gosh, I just feel like that, and if they take B12, it's just a B vitamin, helps our body produce energy. And I've seen that help people, and they're like, oh, all of a sudden I have the energy to get through the rest of the day, and that's a nice simple fix.
I've also heard from fitness experts that B12 can do that for you.
Absolutely.
Right?
It's very important in red blood cell production too, which can have a benefit for energy, getting oxygen to our cells. So,
do you like the idea for people who work out? A lot more people are doing it daily, or several times a week, to have a supplement to back up that exercise.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, if you're building tissue, your body needs nutrients. So, having a supplement on board is a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and just again, you check with the proper people.
That's right.
Go through your pharmacist/doctor or both, and figure out what's right for you.
What's right for you, and let's just make sure there's nothing else going on that can be addressed. Yeah, because that's the main thing.
Exactly. All right, I've got a question. I believe is Glenn still on the phone? Glenn, are you there?
Yes, I am.
How are you, Glenn?
Morning, Glenn.
Good. Good morning.
Morning. What's your question today?
It's related to melatonin, one of the ones you had on the table there.
Yeah.
My daughter currently takes melatonin as a sleep agent to help her go down at night on a daily basis.
Okay. Is it helping?
What was is she's developmentally delayed, and she's prescribed on phenobarbital for seizure disorders.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're finding whether it's an immunity or something related to that, if it is related to her taking the melatonin at night, that she is constantly sometimes banging her head urgently or in frustration. Mm-hmm. We were just wondering if that might be related to the melatonin or a side effect.
So do you think it concurred at the same time as starting the melatonin, or did it happen a long time afterwards? Is there...
It's usually within a couple hours or an hour or two after taking the melatonin.
And did this problem, Glenn, evolve after the first dose of melatonin? Do you know what I mean? When she started taking it, did you notice some changes?
Yes, we did. She has slept better, and it has helped her, but recently it's just developed that she has had this problem with just after taking it, going down at night, she is very agitated and doing these reactions.
Well, Glenn, one thing I've learned, because we're helping some autistic children, and melatonin is a wonderful product to help these children. It's with autism, sometimes the young children or people with autism just can't get a good night's rest.
Right.
And melatonin is this agent that's been researched quite a bit in autism. And it's really proving to have good benefits for a lot of children.
For autistic kids.
For autistic children, getting that rest that would help them throughout the next day. So that's very important.
Right. I think you're right. I think oftentimes people with, be it autism or something else along those lines, oftentimes getting a full good night's sleep is a difficult process.
Oh yeah. Now the one thing I have learned as well, Glenn, just so you know, is a dose change might be very beneficial for you.
Right.
And so that's what we've done in our pharmacy. We actually make various doses of melatonin. It could be 0.5 milligram, 1 milligram, 0.25 milligram, all the way up to 25 milligrams.
Right.
And so that might be of use, because it sounds to me like the melatonin is helping your child.
Yeah.
And gosh, I hope we can find a solution for you, but that just might be the simple solution that you're looking for.
Glenn, I would suggest you get in touch with Scott, and maybe you could, figure out some.
Change the dose.
Exactly. Figure out some different approaches.
That's right.
All right. There's the information to get in touch with Scott at Watson's Pharmacy and Wellness Center. It's 192 Main Street. There's the phone number. watsonspharma.com is the email address. We have one more segment, so one more time for you to ask some questions. 613-789-6559, extension 2803. There's our email. There's our Facebook. You can tweet us as well. We'll be back with more with Watson's Pharmacy on Ask the Expert after this.